So an upscaling mod released a few months ago for Fallout 4, which is pretty surprising considering how long DLSS and FSR have been around for. And we'll take a look to see whether it'll help us squeeze a few more frames from our game. So once you have the mod installed, open the menu to enable the upscaling, which is the N key by default, but it can be remapped if you choose to remap it. And at this drop down here, you can choose between quality, balance, performance, and ultra performance upscaling. If you're not sure how to install the mod, I'll leave a link below in the video description to help you install it. As for the preset drop down here, I'm not sure what the presets are doing and I couldn't find any info on the mod page or on the forum. So if you know what this drop down does, let me know in the comments and I'll pin it for others to see. For this testing though, we'll just go with the default preset. So starting the benchmark, we'll start off in DLSS quality. The game still looks good with minimal quality loss, but our frame rate didn't meaningfully increase at all. When we switch over to DLSS balanced, we see the same issue where our frame rate doesn't noticeably increase. This pattern continues to DLSS performance and ultra performance. And I think this is due to our GPU not being fully utilized, as our GPU usage is hovering around the low 40s and even dropping below that at some points, which isn't great. My take on this is that the issues we're seeing stems from Fallout 4's pretty dated and unoptimized game engine, which doesn't take advantage of newer, more powerful hardware and tends to leave a lot of performance on the table. I confirmed this by looking at the native 1440p performance in the center of Boston, which is well known to be a taxing area in the game. Even at our native resolution without upscaling, our GPU isn't being fully utilized, so all the upscaling is doing in our scenario is just taking more load off the GPU and dropping its utilization, which isn't going to help us much at all here. When switching to ultra performance upscaling at the same scene, we're pretty much getting the same frame rate as native, so for our situation the mod isn't going to help us get better FPS. I found the best way to improve FPS in this game is to make sure you're running Fallout 4's unofficial patch, the high FPS fix, Buffout 4, or any other mod that fixes or improves the limitations of Fallout 4's engine. In my case, I have all those mods installed already, so I've pretty much done all I could to get the best performance out of this game. I'll link all the mods I'm running in the description so you can make sure your game's running as best as it can too. And another issue I faced when using the ultra performance preset specifically was that there was this black bar at the bottom of the screen that just wouldn't go away, and sometimes when anything happened on your screen to your character, it would pop up and down. So I'm not sure if this is a glitch with the mod or, how the upscaling works in this game or its implementation. So if you know what's going on here, let me know in the comments below. In my scenario, I installed an ENB and other graphic enhancing mods to make the game look better since we have GPU headroom that isn't being touched. Running through the same scene in Boston, even with an ENB installed, we're getting the same performance as before when we're using DLSS Ultra Performance. This would be a good situation to use upscaling to try to get more FPS since we're nearly at the limits of the graphics card. But this leads into one of the main drawbacks of the mod, which is that ENBs aren't compatible, meaning you're stuck with choosing between using upscaling or an ENB. You can't have both. So who would this mod help if we weren't able to improve FPS for our scenario? Is it worth using? I'd say it really depends. I think that if you're running an older mid-range or low-end GPU that supports upscaling like an RTX 2060 or an RX 5700, you're likely utilizing most, if not all, of what the GPU has to offer and would definitely benefit in taking some load off the GPU with upscaling. As for how the game looks when using each upscaling preset, I would only stick to using quality or balanced upscaling, as going to a more aggressive setting like performance or ultra performance reduces the image quality too much to be worth using in my opinion. So those are my thoughts on the mod. I'll leave all the links to the mods I mentioned in the description. If you found the video helpful or informative, leave a like and get subscribed.